This episode of Around the Layout is brought to you by ScaleSigns.com. From trackside to roadside and wherever you'd see a sign, Scale Signs has it all. With over 1,400 offerings in N, HO, S, and O scale, Scale Signs has the largest collection of fine scale signs on the planet. Come see the details that bring your models to life on their website, ScaleSigns.com. Discover prototypical track and turnouts with the Roadmaster series from Oak Hill Model Railroad Track Supply. Proudly made in the United States, Oak Hill's handcrafted turnouts provide unparalleled detail and accuracy, giving your layout museum-quality track work at an affordable price. Whether fully built or in easy-to-assemble kit form, Roadmaster provides all the details of real track. Looking for a custom piece of track work? Oak Hill can help with custom turnouts, diamonds, crossings, and more. Check out all of their offerings on their website, ohrtracksupply.com. You've been hearing me say that advertising with Around the Layout podcast gets your business in front of our amazingly engaged audience. But let's hear about results from Mike Zucker at Spring Creek Model Trains.
Ever since we've been advertising Around the Layout, we've definitely seen a nice steady increase of our outbound shipments through our website. Just being able to grow together has been a significant boost to us. It's just a great way for us to be able to show what we do. And partnering here through the advertising and everything is a great way to show off the hobby, support the hobby, and all the different facets that is the hobby of model trains.
Learn how we can partner and grow together. Email us at aroundthelayout@gmail.com. ATLP Extra is our monthly newsletter delivered right to your inbox each month. Sign up for free at atlpextra.com. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Around the Layout, where model railroaders come to tell their story. My name is Ray Arnott, so glad you could join us. On this episode, we're going to do something a little different. At the end of May, I attended the Northeast Railroad Prototype Modelers Meet in Springfield, Massachusetts. With a tangent-covered hopper and my recording equipment in hand, I sat down at Ted DiIorio's weathering clinic and got a lesson on his quick and simple weathering technique. Now, I know this is an audio podcast, but you can head to aroundthelayout.com/170 to see the pictures of the models that Ted and I are weathering during this conversation. I had a lot of fun and learned quite a bit, and I'm happy to share this conversation with you. So here we go. All right, we're sitting here at the 2025 New England. No, they call it the Northeast now,
they changed
right?
it to Northeast.
Northeast.
Yeah,
we're going to simplify it. So the Northeast Railroad Prototype Modelers Meet.
So they keep the same letters, but
yeah, same letters and everything. Yeah. And we're sitting here with Ted. And Ted, let's talk about your last name first and make sure I can pronounce it right.
DiIorio.
DiIorio. Yeah. So start to spell it and then pronounce the rest of it.
D-I, then a capital I.
Yep.
O-R-I-O. And I'll just tell you one thing is that Arial font is the bane of my existence. Because everybody knows that Arial font, capital I and lowercase l is the same. So my name is butchered so many times, people call me DiIorio, and it's not DiIorio, it's DiIorio. Or people could shorten it to DiIorio, I don't mind that, but don't call me DiIorio.
DiIorio.
DiIorio, yeah.
All right, so I am bringing with me, as Ted requested, a car that I messed up a little bit. And when I say a little bit, that's maybe my take on it, but maybe you'll say a lot of it, but I'm sure we're going to be able to figure this out. And what had happened was I left this car in the back of my spray booth without knowing it. So we got a little bit of white overspray, and I'm hiding, I think, maybe I'm showing the side that's got white overspray, and maybe this will all work into this. So I'm going to pass it over here to Ted and let him take a look. And of course, it's the Devin Jackson Mesquite Belt car from Home Shop, so it's not one that we can, immediately replace. So we want to see if we can try to save this car.
But even with the white overspray, that gives a little bit of a fade. So that's really not a bad. It might be a happy accident for you, But we definitely could do something with this, so.
All right, so I'm going to take a quick picture of this so that we can share it on our website, aroundthelayout.com. And so we have that, and I'll try to take a couple pictures as we go here, but you'll see what it started to look like from the beginning. All right, Ted, how do we get started here?
Okay, so I like to use MIG, Ammo by MIG products exclusively. I mean, it's what I've worked with through the years. I've given this clinic, I want to say probably about close to 50 times now. Do multiple sessions at an RPM. I'll do 3 to 4 sessions. This RPM, I'm doing 4 sessions. I've been doing it here at the NE RPM for, say, probably past 6 years. I also do the MA RPM down in Baltimore. I've been doing that every year, give 3 sessions down there. And then every other year at Malvern. So I've done this a lot. I've kind of came across the whole method by accident. I kind of developed it from something I saw Mig Jimenez do on one of his YouTube channels. And what Mig did on his YouTube channel, he had a Farmall tractor, and it was a plastic model, very shiny, looked very toy-like. And he did 2 videos, 2 20-minute videos. And by the time I did the last video, it looked like it had been out in the field for about a couple of years. It was rusted, it's got the chipping on it.
Right.
It had all the grime, the engine oil grime, worn seats, worn tractor tires, and it was amazing what he did in 40 minutes. I was looking at that, and I said, I think I can adapt that to my railroad models. So I did a couple little changes with it, but I think it's turned out all right. So I have some samples here I could show Ray. This car, I used to model the Mod Pod 1943. So I tended to heavily weather them because I figured, in my mind, everything was deferred maintenance during the war.
Right.
So this is an outside braced LNE box car, and it's been fully weathered. And when you look at this car, it's fully weathered. It's probably from start to finish 20 minutes.
Wow.
All right, so I call this quick and dirty. This is not something like if you sit in with Butch Eiler or Dave Apatesano and you watch them, they'll take a car and spend a couple days on it because they're using oils and they're building up layers and they're getting some texture. And I love sitting there watching them guys, but I don't have the patience for that. I'm more of an instant gratification type person. I think that's in the day and age of what we live in now. So it sounds like mine too.
Yeah, that's the professional podcaster forgetting to mute his phone. Right? So.
Yeah, so I always show this. This is the before car, and this is the after car. It's the same exact Atlas model. Might even be the same road number. And this is before 20 minutes. This is after 20 minutes.
Wow.
So I don't know if you want to take a picture and show that.
Yeah, we'll definitely take pictures of that. So what we have is the before is very much that brand new and, although a detailed model and it looks like it has, some, it's not the molded on type stuff, but it still has that plasticky toy look to it still, where in 20 minutes you've got something that, you could put in a photo and start to sell behind some good scenery that looks like the real thing.
Yeah. And I always tell the story. I said, I kind of figured this out because I had my old layout, the Mod Pod 1943. I had about 120 something cars, and they were all, a lot of them were kits that I built, but they're all shiny plastic. And I didn't want to have a 1943 era layout with all these shiny cars running around. So when I was able to develop this technique, I said, this is pretty good. And I could knock out a couple cars in a night. If I want to spend more time, I could do even more.
Right.
And I actually helped some friends model, do their cars on their layouts too. And then I came up with a good idea. I started bringing the cars to the demonstration to the clinic, and had other people model weather my cars too. So I was able to knock 100-some cars out pretty quickly.
Wow, yeah, for sure.
And it's nice because this is a very forgiving method because we use enamels and not acrylics. So the enamel takes longer to set up. So if somebody messed up my car, I was able to go back a little bit thinner and wipe some of it away and actually blend it back in again. And I would actually be able to correct it. So it worked out good. So.
Is there a little bit of a benefit of somebody else weathering it too? Maybe a little different where you don't end up building the same patterns over and over again in weathering?
Definitely, yeah. Everybody's got their own eye and they think, they got their way of thinking how it should look. So that helps out a lot. You actually get the variation. I had a tendency, I started noticing, all right, this car is kind of looking like this car and, a little bit different maybe on that car, but I don't think I make as many variations as I say if I had you do a couple, and had Bobby do a couple, and I had the other Bob do a couple,
Yeah.
So it actually worked out pretty good. But some people did mess up some cars, and you can go up to a week or two later and still hit it with some thinner and kind of correct some of the mistakes and stuff. So
it's very forgiving, like
very
you said.
forgiving,
Yeah,
yeah.
Good way to learn too, because I think that's kind of the hesitation I have too. Okay, maybe I shouldn't be messing around my first attempt as I'm learning with $50 and $60 cars. Maybe I should be
Definitely.
looking for $10 or $15
Definitely,
cars.
yeah,
But
yeah.
Nonetheless, I dived right in, and I guess without a net here, and
That's how you learn.
Now
Yeah.
Ted gets to bail me out a little bit.
There you go.
So
And this is an AccuRail car. I think I paid $15 for the kit, and I put it together in that weather.
you would never know.
You wouldn't know, yeah. So we have to go into my tale of woe.
Okay.
Right? Because this was the clinic that almost didn't happen because my friend Al, his last name is Zymer, he paid me a visit on Thursday when I was packing up to come down here, come up here. What happened was that I had a lot of stuff I needed to bring, and I'm trying to remember everything, and my wife always tells me, you should write it down. I don't write it down. I don't listen. Typical guy, right? So I had all my brushes, my pipettes and stuff packed up. I had something I was trying to bring up for my friend Tom Murray. I didn't want to forget that. I didn't want to forget my models for the model room and the stuff I was selling in the White Elephant room. And I got up here, and then Thursday night, I'm looking through my stuff, and I wasn't even thinking about it. And it dawned on me, I did not bring my little toolbox full of my washes and pigments.
Oh, no.
So, I mean, my whole purpose to be here was to do this clinic. How am I going to do this hands-on clinic without washes and pigments?
Yeah.
So, needless to say, the first clinic on yesterday morning was just me talking, and the guys were very nice about it, and they all gathered around. We talked about what you need to do. I talked about fading. If you want to do any of your grime, you should do your fading first. And we talked about how to do fading. And I said to them, I'm going to go to a local hobby shop and see what I can come back in the afternoon session, and we'll see what we can do. Which is what I did. Actually, Dave Owens told me about a place down in Manchester, so it's called Time Machine Hobby.
Yeah.
Went down there, I called the guy first. I didn't want to take a half-hour ride and come up empty-handed. And he didn't have MIG. He didn't really have much AK, because a lot of times you can interchange MIG and AK together. He says, I got a lot of Vallejo, and I think we have Vallejo washes, and we might have some pigments. I'm like, all right. So my friend Dave Ramos hopped in the car with me, went down Time Machine, visited that place. It was an interesting store in an old factory.
Right. Yeah, that's an old soap factory there in Manchester.
Yeah, we asked him the history, and the guy was telling us it was a soap factory. It was pretty cool. So I came up with, I found, and part of the problem is, there was another place called, it was a gaming place, I forget what it was called. Anyway, they had a lot of AK, but everything's acrylic. And the acrylic is not as forgiving as the enamel. In fact, it's not forgiving at all. Once the acrylic dries, you're kind of screwed. So I like the enamel because it's got the working time. So I needed to get enamel. So we went to Time Machine. I found this Vallejo wash, and it's an enamel, and it's a black. It's what is it? I can't even read that. It's like a black wash. I said, all right, that's going to be good. Normally, I like to use what's called brown for green vehicles, MIG, brown for green vehicles. And if I'm doing yellow cars, I get a brown for German yellow vehicles.
Oh, okay.
For World War II.
Sure.
Most of the MIG stuff was formulated for all the World War II guys.
Yep.
And those are my main ones I work with. I tell people, if you're going to get the starter set, this one here is called Modern Russian Vehicles. It's a set of 5 different colors in it. And I guess Ray could take a picture of that.
Yeah, it just says weathering set for modern Russian vehicles, and it looks like that's from MIG.
It's from MIG, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what I started out with. And I tell people, if you buy nothing else, get that set, right? Because it's going to have 80% of the stuff that you need. That you can always add later on with different colors or different pigments if you want. So it's got Rushing Earth, which is a pigment which I like to use for the grime on the bottom of the car. It's got the brown for green vehicles, which I use on reds, Tuscans, brown cars, and sometimes like a darker orange. If you got yellow cars, lighter orange, I would go with the yellow for brown vehicles, or brown for yellow vehicles, right? And we just work from there. So,
but nonetheless, you were able to find the materials that you were looking for.
Yeah, I found the material. I found stuff that we could substitute. Thank you for bringing me back around.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, so I was able to find this black, and then I found a Tamiya powder set. And the Tamiya powder set I'm using is a Tamiya Weathering Master, and it has soot. It's got rust, which is like very dark brown rust, and snow. And I'll figure out something to use the snow for. Maybe we can lighten up some of the sit with that. And we were able to run the clinic with us. So we saved the day.
Awesome.
Dave Owens saved the day.
Dave Owens saved the day. Dave Owens is the guy that really gets us all together, and then he's in there rescuing all of us.
That's it.
So,
That's
awesome.
his best at.
Dave's
So
a good guy.
yeah. So Ray, we want to get you started, or what?
Yeah, let's do this.
All right. So what we're going to do is I'm going to set you up. Bobby, can I have the bottle back? Do you have it? Or give it back? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So just for the home audience, we have a few people sitting around. So if you hear me talking to somebody else, it's some of the other people that are joined in the clinic here.
Yeah, I just kind of barged my way in here with a
That's
microphone
right.
and a rail car. So
That's
I'm
right.
looking forward to.
So we're putting some of the wash into a container, a little dish for Ray.
Yeah, I would say that's probably less than a teaspoon there.
Yeah,
or
probably
so
half
of this
half
black
a teaspoon.
wash.
Yeah. A little bit will do you because it's harder to pour it back in the bottle.
Sure.
So put a little bit out. You can always add more to it. So we're going to start with one brush. We want to get something that's a little skinnier to apply. And you could probably apply with that one. No, apply with this one. We'll use that one for blending. All right.
Okay.
Or you can use a bigger one for blending if you want. We're going to set Ray up with a couple of makeup sponges. And I tell people I get most of my supplies from Dollar Tree. And if I can't find it in Dollar Tree, I'll find it at Five Below. And sometimes my local supermarket, which is ShopRite's, which is in New Jersey, Connecticut, and Maryland and Pennsylvania, I'll find like the little solo shot glasses. I use them for pouring stuff into.
Perfect.
All my paint brushes and makeup sponges come from either dollar stores or from ShopRite. $2 for a bag of makeup brushes. $1 a pack for 5 brushes. When you're done with them and they're stiff, you just throw them out. You don't have to worry. You don't need fancy brushes. Don't buy crazy fancy artist brushes and then try to use them because you'll ruin them eventually.
So these cosmetic brushes are kind of like they feel like a foamy, they're like a disc, maybe about an eighth to maybe not quite a quarter-inch thick.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty neat.
Yeah, and it's all different shapes. So you got some wedges.
Oh yeah.
You got wedges you can use. You got the round ones.
Yep.
You got like a rounded edge wedge. All different shapes and stuff, and they're all useful. And then you can also get these little ones that they're like a little sponge on the end of a stick that the ladies use for their
eyeshadow.
Eyeshadow.
Now we got an expert here.
I got my wife. My wife here is the expert, so she's got to tell me what these brushes are used for. Eyeshadow brushes.
There you go.
And that's good because Bobby's using that to get into the crevices. He's got like a lot of rips in the side of his rail box car.
Yeah.
And he's using that to get some of the excess wash out from the ribs there. All right.
Absolutely.
All right. So Ray, we're going to start with, and I'll demonstrate on my Pennsylvania car here. All right. And we're going to take one of the small brushes. I'll borrow yours here. All right. You want to have one brush that you're going to put the wash on, another brush that's dry to blend it in. All right. And then the last thing you use is the sponge to blend it in the rest of the way.
Okay.
I tell people, think about how in weather, how the car is going to get dirty. So I'm looking at the microphone, thinking people are looking at me. So the top of your car is going to collect all the grime, right? Rain's going to hit the grime. It's going to wash down the side of the car and streak, and it's not going to be even streaks. So it's going to be kind of streaky, one spot, a little less in another spot. So you want to work from the top down.
Okay.
So you just want to go brush strokes down, not brush strokes up and down. You don't want to go side to side, all right? Once we get done working with that, when we put the grime that comes up from the roadbed, so you have ballast dust from the dirt on the side of the railroad, that's going to be done along the bottom of the car, and then we're going to use the sponge to bring that from bottom to up.
Okay.
And we're only going to go up the position. We don't go up and down.
Okay.
So we're going to start with the top of the car. We'll dip our brush, and I say it's always better to go light and then work it darker, all right?
Right.
So we're just going to go a thin line across the top, like that. Maybe wipe some of it off, and just go down random streaks. Maybe like a line down every 3/4 of an inch.
Yep.
All right. And then what you can do is you can go back and you want to get in here. This is the only place I would say you can go side to side. If you have a door, this box car has a door with some horizontal ribs.
Yep, it's a sliding door.
It's a sliding door, so I kind of want to get it in the grooves there. So I'm going to go against my rules about not going up, not going sideways. I'm going to get a little bit of that in there.
Okay.
I'm going to go back with the wider dry brush, and now I'm going to blend it. So you're going to see it's going to be lighter in between. You got some darker spots, lighter. And don't worry, it kind of looks streaky right there.
Yep.
That's all going to blend in later, all right? And get some in the ladders there. I'm going to go back with my sponge, and I'm going to blend it the rest of the way with the sponge. And see how he's getting that effect. So it's going to be a little bit lighter, a little bit darker.
Yep.
A little bit lighter, a little bit darker. We're going to work that in. And at that
just
point,
again, working just from the top, working our way down. We never go back up.
yeah,
We're
don't
just
go up
wiping
and, not up and
straight
down, not sideways. You're not painting a house. You want to go from, you imagine you're the rain washing the grime down the side of the car, all right?
Right.
All right. At that point, we're going to stop.
Okay.
We're going to go to the end. Same thing on the end. We're going to get started with a little bit across the top. You're going to have the same situation where this box car has some vertical ribs on it.
Yep. Well, I think they call them dreadnought or something like that.
Probably dreadnought here, yeah.
Yep.
I go up and down, but you can actually work a little bit in if you want like that. You don't have to go too much with it. Go back with the wide brush.
Yep.
Work that in. All right. You can go side to side. Only on the ends like that. All right. Go back with your sponge. Wipe it down. Stop. Go to the next.
Yep.
Get the next side. Do the next end. Then you're going to do the roof. The last thing you're going to do is the roof. So the roof we're going to go. Now you have metal walkway. It's like a great walkway.
Right.
All right. It's going to be the same thing. I'm going to go down a roof walk on mine. I'm going to put it kind of a little heavy down a roof walk. All right. And then I'm going to put a little bit down the edge along the roof walk. What do you think that would be carried in that car? What do you got in that car?
I think this could be any kind of grain product that's being carried into it.
So you think you would have like some like light colored dust or something?
I would imagine so. Yep. And I think that's the service I would put it in on my railroad. So.
Yeah. All right. So when we get to that point, I think we might try blending a little white and a little bit of the rust. And that might get like that color of like maybe like grain dust or something.
Outstanding.
But, yeah. All right, but for me, for the box car, I did down the roof walk. I got a little bit on the side of the roof walk. Now I'm going to go back and the random, pulling from that roof walk, random down the different panels. Again, kind of like how we did the side. All right, I'm going to go back with a wider brush, try to blend it in. And then we're going to finish up with the sponge.
Yep, so we've just applied all that. Like you said, you put it on the roof walk and then pulled it out to the sides away from the roof walk.
Exactly.
And then now you're using that sponge that you were using prior and then just wiping it out towards the edge of the car.
Yeah, so you're going from the middle to the edge, one direction, just like what was it? The band was a band One Direction, I think, right? So anyway,
I don't know. You would probably listen to that.
Well, no, I think something my daughters would have listened to maybe, back in the day. All right, so the reason why we go around the car first with the wash is that we don't want a really wet wash. If you did the car one side of the car, and then you had the wash and the wash is still wet, you go to put the pigment on it, it's going to turn into paint.
Oh, okay.
Because your powdered pigment is basically a paint pigment. You add thinner to it, it turns into paint.
Sure.
So we wanted to get tacky. We wanted to dry and get a little tacky before we go in and hit it with the grime, with the pigments.
Okay.
And what that does, let's see, where did I start? I only did this side here, I think. What that does is that you'll have the powder texture, so it's going to look like grime texture, and the pigment, the wash with being tacky is going to be like a glue, but it's not going to dissolve into a paint. Then it's going to look like paint on the side. It's actually going to look like the grime, like you see on the side of the car here.
Right.
That's how you get that powdered grime look to it.
Okay.
So now we're going to go with our soot color.
And we're using one of those makeup sponges.
Yeah, you know what? I tried using the brushes, the paint brushes, and this is such a solid powder. It's not like the pigment where it's like a powder.
Okay.
It's more you got to kind of work it a little bit.
Right.
And then go on. So we're going to start in the bottom. We're going to do a line across the bottom, kind of like we did at the top.
Okay.
and bring it across the bottom. But when you get to the end, you want to kick it up. So I tell people, make like a smiley face on the side of the car.
Okay.
You want to go and then kick it up on the end.
So you're starting about where the side of the door.
Yeah, I'm going
right
from
on the bottom.
Yeah,
of
I'm
the
going
car.
from the door in the middle of the
Yep.
car, and then I'm kicking it up on the end like that. And you can see it's already gone there, right?
Yep.
Go down the other side, same thing.
Yeah, and kind of wiping it up right about where the ladders are, and maybe about on this car, being I think what's a 40-footer.
This is a 40-footer.
Yeah, about two or so rungs up on the ladder or so.
Yeah.
You're wiping that up.
All right. So I have the soot on the bottom, and again, I would use more of an earth tone if I had my pigments with me.
Yep.
So the Russian earth usually works pretty good with that. And I'm going to go straight to the sponge.
Okay.
And I'm going to go from the bottom up. Now I'm just going to drag a little bit of that up.
Okay.
So it tones down what I did on the bottom, but it kind of brings some of the soot or the grime up into the lettering almost. So again, so now we're going, instead of up, and we're not going down, we're actually just dragging it up.
Okay.
And that's it. And you can see this is what we've been here about 15 minutes, not even.
Yeah, and we've been taking more time talking about it than
Yeah,
doing it. So
pretty
yeah,
much.
but yeah, very quick, and we've already got a great look.
Now when you get to the end, you're going to do a little different. And I was talking to Dave Apatizano, we were talking about this yesterday, and he was thinking, he says, on box cars, I always do my box cars, I do like some streaks going, like 2 streaks going up like it was kicking off the wheels. Mm-hmm. And he says the box cars are so close together, you don't really see it so much, but you see it more with hoppers, like on this hopper you would see it.
Right.
But I still like to do it, so what I'll do is I'll take some of the soot or whatever I'm using,
Yep.
and I'll do 1 streak up here, 1 streak like this.
Okay.
You can actually see it almost, right?
Yeah.
And that's where, say the car in front is kicking up grime up on the side of the car, like that, right? We did that on your car too, right? And then I go back and blend it with the sponge, all right? And you can continue around the car, do the same thing. When you get to the roof, you can put a little bit on the roof, and like we said with yours, Ray, we might experiment with some of the white and some of the lighter brown. If you're steam air, you want to have some cinder soot in your roof walk.
Right.
And that kind of like dulls it out a little bit. That, and then you can just do a little bit down the side like that if you want it. So out from the edge. And that's it. And in about 20 minutes time, 25 minutes, if you're doing your first car, you can have a car that's pretty much weathered. Well, we do our trucks a little differently. I think after Ray's done with his car, we'll talk about trucks a little bit. So.
All right.
So you want to start?
Yeah, let's get started.
All right, so here's your wide brush.
Okay.
Here's your brush, the applicator brush for it. I guess remember, do a very thin line across the top.
Okay, here we go, Devin. We're gonna work your car here.
He's gonna fix your car for you there.
There we go. All right, so I'm gonna go right across the top here.
Yeah, very thin.
Very thin.
Yeah, you should be able, whatever's on the brush, you should be able to get all the way across. And he said it's always easier to put more on later. It's a little bit more difficult to take away. Not totally hard to take away, but now take that brush and then streak it down. The one that you just had.
The one I just had, and I'm just gonna add some streaks.
You're gonna dig into that line you put across the top.
Yep.
And then pull it down. So as you get down to the bottom of the car, it's gonna fade a little bit less and less. All right.
Yeah.
You go all the way down to the bottom of the car. And then after you blend it with the bigger brush, if you think you need a little more, you can always a little bit more. But I would do the bigger brush and then do the sponge and then see how it looks after you're done. So
Okay, so now I've got some streaks down. I'm gonna take and pull them down with that.
you pull it down with that and blend it together. Don't be afraid to press into the car. So Ray's taking his wider brush and he's blending it all together. The wider brush, don't forget, needs to be dry. Right, you don't want to be adding more to it.
Yep, it's perfectly dry. So I think I got it.
You want a wedge sponge, or you want to use one of these?
I don't know. Which one should I?
I like the wedges.
Like the wedges?
I like
Okay,
to use
yeah.
the
So this
wedges.
looks like something that somebody would cut a hole in and wear it to a Green Bay game. Right?
Yeah, it looks like the cheese head. Yeah,
a little bit of cheese head on it. So.
Yeah. So if you're Green Bay fans, you want to get your wedge sponges. So.
Yep. So we'll wipe all that down.
All the way down, and you're going to notice that's blending it in good for you. And if you think there's too much, you just use the clean side of the sponge and go back and do it over again.
Yep.
Okay.
I already like what it's doing to the white lettering. It's giving that real nice fade look to the white. And it looks really good.
Rams up the white a little bit.
Yeah.
How we doing, Bobby? Yeah, that's definitely improved it. Yeah.
Like your next one's at like 2:30 or so.
Yeah.
Save us a chair for me.
I will. I'll save a chair for you. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
People already making reservations.
There
to
you
get in
go.
here with
I'm
the Ted.
popular. So.
You are popular.
All right.
So
So
I
what do you
could
think?
use
Let me take a look at it.
I'm liking that. I like it. It's giving that good streaked look on the side.
Yeah.
Like I said, I really love that look on the white to get that lettering knocked down and
Definitely,
faded in. So that
definitely, yeah.
definitely looks really good.
Yeah, I mean, you can even see on my cars. I mean, that's, it was white. The lettering was white, and that's nice and faded out.
They don't stay white for long, so that's good to get them faded out. Yeah.
All right, so if you're happy with that,
Yep.
it's going to be a little bit harder to do the ends on yours. I think you could probably do the ladders and stuff, and maybe just grime it up with some of the grime later. But
Okay.
let's go to the next side. Go to the next
Okay,
side.
we're gonna flip it over here. We'll go to the
Let's
back
work on
side
the
of the
sides
car.
first and see what happens. 'Cause on the ends, you probably can at least get across the top there, maybe. Yeah.
All right.
So
we're
same
gonna-
same exact thing.
Yep. So I'm gonna take my smaller brush. I'm dipping it into the black wash.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put a little bit up in there.
There he is. He's running. All right, so he's got the streak across the top.
Yep. Oh, I'm gonna use that same
Yeah,
brush.
same
I
brush,
gotta remember
yeah.
that same brush, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna streak that down
Yeah.
all the way down to the bottom. I'm trying to do it a little randomly here to try to get a different look to it.
Hey, Dave.
Definitely want to get some in that lettering because I do like that look.
We just had Dave up at the Sano pay a visit. to
Yeah, I
us.
saw that. Dave's stopping by. We had quite a few familiar faces.
Dave will sit down with me a lot of times when I'm doing these clinics, and he adds a little bit extra to people. He'll even show some of his techniques sometimes, so it's great.
Awesome.
All right, so Ray's going back with the wider brush and blending in again. All right, so he's blending that all in, so then he's going to take the sponge next and finish the blending with the sponge. And we're seeing a lot of the similar from the last one. So you might want to turn over to the cleaner edge of it. There you
Okay.
go. Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Flip that over and
And what's nice about these sponges, they come in a big pack. I think at the local supermarket, for this big pack of probably about 20-something sponges, I paid $2 for it.
oh wow.
So don't try and save them. Just you get these cheap brushes, throw them out when you're done. You do the cheap sponges, throw them out when you're done.
Yep.
You can always replace them,
All right. I'm liking this already.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks great. All right. Let's see what we can do right on the ends. Let's see, maybe get a little bit up on there and blend it out. And maybe it's like when you're blending down with your sponge, maybe you can carry some down onto the ladders and stuff.
All right. So I'm gonna take and reload my brush here a little
Yeah.
bit.
And by the time we're done with that, we'll go back to the first side and we'll start kicking up the dust there.
Okay. So we're gonna get a little bit across the top there,
Yeah.
and then I'm gonna try to just streak a little bit down the ladders.
Yeah, and that should work out.
On the bracing that's all in between. And,
Yeah.
All right, and then we'll take our sponge. We got some couple clean spots on
Yeah,
this.
don't forget
thing
the white
still.
brush first.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right.
That's right.
This is what Ted's here for. Keep me.
Yeah. So think 1, 2, 3. First one, number 1 is the thin brush with putting the wash
Yep.
on. Number 2 is the wider brush to blend it. Number 3 is the sponge to blend it the rest of the way in. Okay. You can do it now.
I might be one of those guys who would have to set a mat out that says 1, 2, 3 on it, so I can remember to go through the steps.
Have it on a piece of paper and just have it out in front of you.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. There you go. Okay. One of my regulars over here, he's got it written in his book
There
there.
you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got to remind myself sometimes too, so don't feel bad about it. Yeah. Yeah. So what do you think? Is that blended in? How's
Yeah,
it look,
I may went a little dark on the top, but I think we're going to be all right with
Yeah,
that.
if you keep pressing with the sponge, it'll take a lot of it away.
Yeah.
And worst comes to worst, Ray, if it's too dark, you have up to like a week for it to really
Yeah.
set.
Yep.
You go back with some odorless thinner, and you can hit it with a little bit of paper towel and then hit it with the sponge, and a lot of it will wipe away.
Wow.
I've gone like a day or two later, and I didn't like something, and I would hit it with the thinner, and I could take most of it away and just redo the car, and it's worked out pretty good like that.
I don't know. I'll just see what's.
All right, so I'm going to try to go a little thinner on this side, just and
Yeah.
maybe if anything to give it a little bit different look.
Yeah.
All right, I And then we'll go down this as well.
And as you're doing it, I'm thinking about how we can get into the slope sheet. And I'm thinking I might have a way to think about that, because I'm thinking on your slope sheets you could probably put some of the wash in there and just get some of the grime in there, because you're not going to see it, and you want a little bit of a dirty look to it. So, because that's where it's going to be kicking up, especially on this car. It's going to be kicking up off the wheels.
Yeah.
Because there's no deck on it'd be not a good car for somebody to ride on if they were being a hobo. So.
No, not at all. Though. It'll definitely be dirty.
All right, so this one was a little less. Is it working out better?
I think so. It's a little tough because we don't have the best of lighting here, too.
Yeah, this is not a great lighting situation.
We're in the hallway, but I think that's going to look pretty good. That's really, now I'm going to go to step 3. This is where Bob. We got Bob Newcomb over here hanging out with us.
Yeah.
And he's going to come up with the mat that's going to revolutionize this entire process. So he's going to come up with the 1, 2, 3 mat.
Yeah, he's got the diagram. So. All right. So Ray's working it in with his sponge. He's getting so good at the sponge, he can help his wife with the makeup.
No, boy, she don't need makeup. She's that good looking.
There you go.
She doesn't need it.
He's got the right words to say.
That's right. I've learned. All right. So I've got that wipe down on the end of the car.
Excellent. All right. So I think before we mess to the roof, let's go back and we'll start the grime now. So.
Okay.
Because Ray's got a modern hopper car, a modern covered hopper car, and it's got the metal roof walk going around the edges.
Yep.
So we're going to have to tackle that a little different than I did my 1940s boxcar. But we'll go back to that, Ray. I think find out which side was the first side you worked with, if you remember. That might not be.
I think it's facing me right now.
One is facing. I think so too. All right. So now you're going to go, and you could use this one here. Dig around in that soot.
Okay.
And do a thin line across the bottom and do the smiles on the end. Kick it up on the end.
Okay. So I'm just going to wipe this down the end like this.
Down the side, and you can reload the brush if you need to. All right. And again, if you're looking at the car, you're going to do like a big smiley, like the Joker grin on it almost. You're gonna
right.
Thin on the bottom, in the middle of the car, and you're going to kick it up on the ends. As if the wheels were just going down the track and everything's building up on the end of the car. So.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. So I think I got that.
Okay. Go back with your sponge.
Yep.
Clean part of your sponge. And I can give you another sponge if you need it.
I got one more corner, I think.
All right, and go from the bottom up.
So we're going to go from...
Yeah, so...
I wonder if it's easier to turn the car.
Yeah, you might want to turn the car
down,
over,
and then I can just kind of grab it and just...
Lightly go from the bottom up. All right. And that's going to fade out that grime on the bottom. And we're going to see how it looks once he's done with it. All right. So what do you think? You can turn it back around and look at it.
I like it.
So that kind of streaks some of the grime up into the panels now, you know?
Yeah.
I think it's looking pretty good.
I like it.
All right, so we're kind of getting rid of that little bit of white overspray there, and I guess that's helping out.
Yeah, starting to bury that in a little bit.
So now you're going to work your way around the car like we did before.
Okay.
All right. Here, let me have the powder back, Jay. Yeah, I'll give it right back to you. We have multiple people here working, so we're just sharing our product together.
We can do that. That's awesome.
So he's getting some more of the black soot. And again, if we have the MIG products, we're going to be using probably Russian earth or a dark earth pigment. Running that along the bottom, kicking it up on the ends. And then we'll go back with our sponge again and wipe it up from the bottom to the top.
They're going to make it a little dirty. They know if it's coming from Texas up to New England, it's got itself...
There you go.
It's been dirty a little bit. So.
Sure. And if it's coming from Texas, you might even be able to put a little bit of white on there, too.
Yeah.
Because we were talking before with Tony Sissons was here, and we were talking about cars that are spending most of the time out west. You would have a lighter dust being kicked up. You still have like the ballast color, whatever, the railroad that you would want to get on there. Mm-hmm. But also, too, things that are out in the desert, like if you got BNSF or older Santa Fe or UP, Cotton Belt. they all ran out in the desert, so you're going to need something lighter color. So I go with the lighter pigments, like a desert sand pigment.
Yep.
Some of the concrete actually color pigments because it's a little more of a sand color, or desert color on it. So what do you think on that one?
I like it. I like it. Again, I like that way it fades that white in. That getting it into that white lettering. White doesn't stay white for long anywhere, especially on the railroads.
Sure. And then you can just do a little bit on the ends now too, like you did before.
All right, so I'm going to take that little brush and I'm just going to, a sponge, I should say.
Yeah, maybe just, I would think how we tackle this is maybe put some on the ladder and stuff and just try to drag it up,
Okay.
Because you really don't have much to work with. There's very fine ladders and details. Who was the manufacturer of the car? I know he says it's home shop.
I believe it's right here. It's a tangent car.
A tangent car, all right. So everybody knows how to find details on tangent cars.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, you got to be careful. You don't want to break those off. So.
A little bit of grime up on that one.
How's that looking?
I like it.
Can you notice the difference with it there?
Yeah, I think so. I think you can see a little bit of that kick up. Like I said, we're struggling with a little bit of light here and my aging eyes, but I think we're seeing it.
All right. Last little bit of grime.
Got one more clean spot on this brush. We'll wipe it.
There we go. And we almost have a finished car.
Wow, very cool.
Awesome. All right, so I think that looks a lot better than what we started with, right?
I certainly do.
Yeah.
I certainly do.
All right.
My mistake is starting to fade away. I like that.
There you go. I think if you take pictures of it, you're not going to really notice your mistake.
That's right.
In fact, the white, we could say that the white was part of the lettering process. So.
Right.
Yeah. All right, just for the top, I think we could put some down the middle, all right?
Okay, so we're going to put them right on the hatches, right on the
hatches, and you want to get maybe a little bit into the roof walk.
All right, so we're back to step one.
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to take the wash and we're just going to wash right down the center of those.
Yeah, and then streak it out to the edges. But you also want to put some down the center of your roof walks too.
All right, so I'm going to lay that on there. And I'm going to get a little bit on the roof walk.
And then you just go back with your wider brush and blend that all together.
Okay, so I'm going to pull out from the center.
Yeah, in the center. Your roof walk, you can actually go down the roof walk with the brush.
Okay.
Yeah. Because whatever grime comes on those grates, that the grated material the roof walk's made out of, it's going to be sitting on there. It's not going to wash away too much. So. And then we're going to think about how we're going to do the grime on top. Because again, we're thinking that this car might have been a grain car.
Yep.
So you want a little bit lighter dust on top. I mean, you can mix a little bit of soot with it, but you're not going to really have too much soot on top of the car because this is a modern era car. It's not steam era like mine.
Right.
Well. All right. And then hit it with a sponge, and let's blend it in with the sponge.
Okay.
All right, so Ray's working in the roof walk, and he's working from the center of the car out to the side. And he's going to go the other direction now. All right, so then he's got from the top is finished. So because we're going to let that just dry a little bit, maybe about a minute, so it stays tacky. And then we're thinking about with the top, I think we're going to take the powder. And this particular set has the soot. It's got what they call a rust, but it looks more like almost like an oxide brown, almost like a boxcar brown. And it's got white, which they call snow. I think if we blend some of a little bit of the brown with a bunch of the white, it might give it more of a grain color.
Right.
If you want to experiment on my car first, just make sure before we do anything to your car, we can do that. Or I can experiment maybe. Let me see.
Yeah.
This is a $5 car, so I don't care about that.
What is this thin with?
That is just, it comes as a wash. It comes in a bottle thinned out already. So when you buy a wash, any of the MIG washes or which one you want? This one right here? Yeah. When you get any of the washes, they're already watered down. You're buying them already pre-made.
Right.
Back in the old day, you used to have to make your own washes, and you had to figure out what thinner, how much thinner to how much paint you're going to use to thin it out. So these companies make it easy for you. And again, I'm lazy. I'm not so much lazy, but I'm an instant gratification person.
Yeah.
The faster I can make the process, the better it's going to be. So my friend Hunter Houston, you can go on his blog. It's Hunter Houston's Crosstown Pickup, it's called. And he does a lot of color blending, and he's my color guy.
Yeah.
So if I don't have a color that I need, like he's got this perfect blend for Penn Central Green.
Okay.
And because you don't, unless you buy True Color, if you want to use some of the enamels or something, you gotta have to blend your own. And he's an art teacher in Canada, so he's really good at color mixing. And I just say, hey, okay, Hunter, what's going on? What do I got to do for this? And he gives me the color blends and stuff. So again, it's subjective to your eye, and sometimes it's photographs, you have different lighting for different photographs, and people are arguing, that's not the right color. I said, well, what was the lighting when it was taken? Picture
Exactly.
was taken?
Yeah, we got different Kelvin, different a whole bunch of things.
Yeah, and that changes the hue of the color, and that's why nobody can agree on colors anymore, I'm trying to get another brush because I started mixing in black into this white, and that's not good. Oh, that's even worse. Somebody had pigment on there. On that brush. You're right. That's what I'm looking for.
And these brushes don't look like they're anything fancy. These look like something you may have picked up as a big pack. Is that what I'm looking at?
These are dollar store brushes.
Yeah.
So like I said, you get a pack of 5 for $1.
Right.
Or now Dollar Tree's $1.25 tray because of inflation.
Right.
But you get a pack for a pack of 5. If they're a little bit nicer brushes, maybe a pack of 3. You can go to Five Below and get a $5 pack of a whole big assortment of brushes, and then you just throw them out at the end. I can maybe get 1 or 2 clinics out of this. Like after today, I'll go through all the brushes that are dried out and I'll throw them out. Right. Make another trip to Dollar Tree and I buy 5 or 6 more packs. At $1 a piece. So. All right, so we're going to see you experiment on this car. Put some white on it. That actually might work pretty good, Ray.
Oh yeah.
All right, that kind of lightens it up. And with the blue, it might work out. Yep. And if I want to tone it down a little bit, put some of the brown on it. I think that's going to work, Ray.
Awesome.
So if you don't mind experimenting.
No, we're going to do it.
All right. If Ray ruins his car, he's going to yell at me.
No, we're not going to ruin anything. We're going to have fun with this.
Because I told him to do it.
All right. So we're going to take
Let's
that
do the
white.
All right.
Okay. So
and put the white around the hatches, and then we can go back and blend that in.
So we're going to put them kind of like right on the outside edge of the
hatches, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So
let's go around, and then we can go back and tone it down later if we have to. Yeah, just dig through there. Yeah, and there's more down here too, I think. We're searching for brushes, guys. There's none in here, but here, let's take this stuff out.
If we can't find any, we're going to send Dave down to Dollar Tree and get us some.
Yeah.
That's what you need.
Yeah.
Cheap auxiliary.
Yeah. Maybe you can go back with the sponge. I'll get you a clean sponge, and we'll blend that in. If we think we need to add any, brown to it, we'll add some brown to it.
I think we could.
Yeah. See, that color will work good for me because I have a lot of cement cars that I got to do for my Ironton Railroad.
Yeah, sure.
So that's a good cement color. So he's working the white pigment in around the hatches. And then we might go back over with a little bit of the brown color to offset the white. And we're trying to get like maybe a little bit of grain dust effect on it. All right. At least I stalled it up a little bit.
Yeah, it definitely did.
Yeah.
Yeah, added a little bit. I mean, there's some powder that got between there in the
yeah, you're not even going to be able to blow it out. Like, just give it a blow. Did that work?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Knocked it right out of the way.
All right. So, if you want to touch it a little bit with the brown, maybe? I don't know.
Let's try it.
So we go with some of the little bit of the light, medium brown pigment. I'm going to put that around the hatches too. And we're trying to simulate a little bit of grain dust.
Got another Traveler's Club heavyweight Walters of your part.
And then we'll blend that with the sponge also.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I can just tell by looking at this car, it's a lot better than when Ray started out.
Yeah, it certainly doesn't look brand new like it was before. It looks like it's really been from Palestine, Texas, all the way up to New England.
There you go.
And back a few times.
Yeah.
80% of the people are going to do it.
And again, I think I said it before, but if you have a car and you've done it, and you go back a day later and you say, I'm not kind of too happy with it. You hit it with some odorless thinner.
Yep.
MIG makes with odorless thinner, AK makes an odorless thinner, and you can go and wipe a little bit on, and you'll be able to take a sponge and tone it down even more if you wanted to.
Awesome.
You can take a lot of it off and redo it too if you wanted to. But I think this is looking good, right?
Yeah. Now, how about these? Shoots?
I was just thinking about that. You could do the same effect, but maybe just put some of the wash on there, wipe it away, and then hit it with some of the dust on the bottom. All
right. Well, we'll mess around with the bottom. We'll get that all weathered up, and then we'll get some pictures and we'll share them on the website. So, sure. Ted, thank you so much for a great lesson on weathering cars.
Yeah, I'm glad you were able to sit down and do this with us, and thanks for stopping by.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Around the Layout. Learn more about today's episode, check out past shows, and much more on our website, aroundthelayout.com. Show your support by becoming an operating crew member at aroundthelayout.com/crew. Follow us on social media, aroundthelayout.com/social. And send us your feedback, aroundthelayout@gmail.com. Thanks for hanging out with us around the layout.